What can spiritualism explain that science cannot? The platypus. Spiritualism can explain the origins of the platypus, while science cannot. Technically, the platypus is an animal that genetically should not be capable of existing. It contains 72 chromosomes, which is 3 times that of any Homo sapien, let alone any other known species on Earth. Its origins are a complete mystery, and at best science guesses that it may have some distant relation to the now extinct dodo bird. However, spiritualism explains that in the early days of creation and Eden, the creator being had actually been working on the platypus, dodo bird, when Adam had taken the bite from the apple of Eden. Some cultures say that this is when God made the holy goof of creationism that caused the platypus to look the way it does, and some may look at this as God's way of admitting that we all make mistakes sometimes and not to get so caught up in perfectionism, because vanity is a sin that leads to the downfall of pride and glory. You see, some believe that because Eve was made from Adam's rib and Adam was made directly in the likeness of God himself, because of this God had a stronger empathic connection towards Adam and what occurred to him, hence which is why he did not notice at first when Eve ate from the fruit, but realized when Adam had. This is the reason why he had made Eve feel so much pain during childbirth after that incident, so that he would not feel so distant from his creation of Eve, using the extreme sensation of childbirth to bridge the gap of emotion felt to signify the separation Adam had to experience, i.e. eating of the fruit to attain free will. For it was always God's plan for Adam to eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge between good and evil, so that the gift of choice that he had planned on giving to make man so special with could be attained. To do so, a separation from God was necessary. This would not be the first time man had not been capable of understanding God's plans and intentions towards man to live by, for remember how he had to send his son through the way of the Immaculate Conception just to remind the Hebrew Council that the process of sexual conception was not a natural sin, for he had commanded Adam and Eve to go forth and spread thy seed and be plentiful, yet they had grown to condemn the act as a natural act that condemned all mankind to hell upon birth for it, and were unworthy in his eyes because of their parents' act of fornication that brought them into this world by their conception. So thus the Son of Man was sent to the Immaculate Conception to defy their blasphemy of his word in his name, just as Lucifer was sent to defy the blasphemy of lies in his name as well. So, as I said, it was always God's plan for them to eat of the tree of good and evil, and not of the tree of life, and that was where the serpent deceived Eve. However, it was the unified oneness that a mother feels with her newborn child, similar to how Adam felt with God. The reason behind the pain was the separation from that oneness, like that of a newborn child and mother. Like that of postpartum depression, is similar to that which Adam felt, which we all feel when separated from God. But through faith and belief, we can attain that connection and re-establish ourselves with Him once again. So you see, what a woman experienced through rearing a child from birth is very similar to what we go through spiritually in our journey in faith, and it is that way because of what happened that day when God made the platypus and Adam ate from the fruit, and God realized the distance between Eve and him, for he had made her from Adam's rib, which was different than how he had made Adam. To rectify this and bring woman closer to him, so that he may be able to know them more closely, he made childbirth. It obviously had its kinks, but as you can tell, it was kind of a on-the-job fixer-upper. But that, of course, is my interpretation, and I am but a humble witness. Lesson from Sun Tzu: to stand strong against all adversaries is to be mighty, but to admit to one's own weaknesses before those who believe and trust in you is greater than humility. It is to exist within divine truth with one's own self. When you achieve that, then you overcome the one greatest obstacle that will always be there, prepared to stand in your way at any given notice, and that is yourself. Your own inner hesitations and self-doubts, the greatest obstacle and nemesis anyone can ever know or face or ever hope to face, greater than any warrior and better trained than 100 ninjas, silent as the night. For this one warrior knows all your thoughts, weaknesses, and your every strategy. There is no greater enemy than oneself. Lessons of Sun Tzu. Advice of strategy from Feng Shui. Your enemy is crafty. Their strategy is impervious. You cannot see a weakness through their defense. So what should your next strategic move be against such an impossible opponent? I shall reveal the path for you here. This adversary seems to have out-of-this-world technology that seems to pop up from different places across the world. Each time you find one that predates its authority, then another appears even older than the one you discovered that eliminates your progression from pursuing any further assistance. So, how do you confront such a threat to your people and possible annihilation of your species? By knowing the words or phrases that can exempt you from being cancelled out of legitimately being heard and not being silenced, as well as calling out all their hands. They have authority, then let's see them line up in formation all at once. Call them all out at the same time and jam up their systems. If it is a fake system, then it will overload itself and break down. If it is legitimate, then that is a different story then. But what is being described here sounds fake to me. So Feng Shui's advice would be to call their bluff all at once and blow up a good smoke screen. For the fog bank is rolling heavy tonight.